Hey there, welcome back to the At Home Dive YouTube channel. As always, my name is Joey and today we're in the kitchen making something fantastic. Today, we're going to be making bagels because everybody loves bagels. Whether it's for that Saturday morning brunch sandwich with the family or whether it's that Monday morning grab it and go because you're already running late, bagels are always a good answer. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right in. Alright, so as per usual, today on the counter we have a pretty simple list of ingredients, and as you can tell here I have a little bit more water in here, and this is just warm water to warm this up, but I will be using 1.5 cups of faucet warm water, looking for that 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit area. We're going to be using 1 package of active dry yeast. I've got 4 cups or about 500 grams of bread flour. Usually I use AP flour, but today we're going to use bread flour so we get that extra gluten and stretchiness that we're looking for. I've got 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. I have vegetable oil here. I'm going to be using about 2 teaspoons. And I've got 1 egg white, 1 tablespoon of water. On the stove over here in my giant yellow pot, I've already got 2 quarts of water and 2 ounces of fresh honey. I went ahead and grabbed a few things that I'm going to be needing and kept them handy, such as 2 lined baking trays. And over here, I've got my cling wrap, a bowl scraper just in case, a pastry brush, a fork, knife, a slotted scoop, and 1 dish towel. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll get a couple of these things out of the way first. Alright, we're back, and I've got 1.5 cups of water in here, and I'm going to go ahead and take my yeast and dump that right in, and then give it a quick stir. Once you get the yeast in and it's stirred well, feel free to go ahead and wrap it in plastic wrap and set it aside. We're going to wait about 10 minutes on that. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and add in the salt and the brown sugar to our flour. We're just going to give these a quick mix and then wait for our yeast and water to be ready. Alright, so as you might be able to see here, the yeast is nice and foamy now, so that lets us know that it's ready to go. We're going to go and add it right into the flour mixture. And now, just like any other bread dough, we're going to work it together. Now that we've got the dough mixed to where we can work it, we're going to go ahead and grab our excess flour, and I'm going to go ahead and coat the countertop quite well with flour. Go ahead and keep this on standby, just in case you need a little bit extra as you go. It's quite likely. Now, we're going to knead the dough until it's nice and smooth. If the dough starts feeling sticky, feel free to add a little bit more of this flour to it. And if it starts feeling nice and tough and dry, feel free to back off on adding flour. But then, we're just going to continue to use the push, turn, pull method and knead the dough until it's nice and smooth. This could take up to 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, we are back, and it has been quite some time now, and as you can see, the countertop is a lot cleaner than whenever we left off because this has taken up all of the flour, and I've kept adding some along the way. And as you can see now, the dough is nice and smooth, and when you press on it, it pushes back out. So that's a good sign that the dough is ready to go. It's also nice and firm, and it's slightly tacky, but not sticky. So now, we're going to grab our bowl, and I mentioned oil before, and I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of oil in here. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to coat the bowl and the dough essentially. And I'm going to put the dough smooth side down, slide it around, and then flip it over. So now all of the dough is covered in oil. I'm going to go ahead and cover this in plastic wrap. And now I'm going to set this somewhere warm for about an hour and a half. This gives me a chance to clean up while the dough rises. 1 hour later. All right, so now we're back, and as you can see, our dough has over doubled in size, so we are ready to go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push a little bit of the air out of the dough, and then I'm going to roll it right back out onto the counter. Now I'm going to cut the dough into 8 pieces and then roll those pieces into little balls. Now we're going to let these sit somewhere for 30 minutes and rise just a little bit more.
One eternity later.
All right, we are back, and it's been about 30 minutes, and as you can see, these have risen a little bit more. So now we're going to actually take the step that starts shaping them into bagels. So what we're going to do, if we just pick this dough up, we're going to press our fingers right through the middle and essentially tear a hole right in the center. And then I'm going to put 2 fingers inside, and I'm going to roll a hole right in the middle that's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches big. If it's not perfectly centered, that's okay as well. But if you can stretch the bagel to where it forms that hole closer to centered, it's going to look just a little bit more uniform. So we're going to do this to all of them. Now that my water's boiling, I'm going to drop these bagels into the water 2 to 3 at a time and let them boil for about 75 seconds per side. So here are our bagels freshly out of the honey boil. So as you remember in the beginning of the video, I started with 2 trays. And the reason I did that is so that these have plenty of space to be spread out and get nice even heat in the oven. So they would all fit on 1 tray, but 2 trays are going to give you that even cooking in the oven. So right now they are just a touch damp, and that's more than fine and perfectly expected because we did just pull them out of water. But if you remember, we had this egg white and tablespoon of water whenever we started the video. So what we're going to do here is give these just a second to dry off, and they'll start to get nice and tacky as opposed to slippery. And we're going to beat this egg white until smooth and then add in this water to it. All right, so now I've let these sit for just a second and they're nice and tacky. What I'm going to do is take my brush here and just brush these with the egg white and water mixture. Now we're going to go into our preheated 425-degree oven. We're going to bake these for 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. Keep in mind that if you open your oven to rotate multiple times or anything like that, it may take yours a little bit longer to get nice and brown. So I just got the bagels pulled out of the oven, and as you can see, they're nice and dark on top. They've got a crispy nature to them. So we're going to go ahead and let these sit here for about 15 more minutes, and then we'll transfer them over to a cooling rack and let them cool to room temperature.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, so we're back, and these have had time to cool off now, and you can take a look at all these beautiful, nice brown bagels here. And let's go ahead and cut one open and see what the inside looks like and feels like. So I don't know if you can hear the knife cut through the tough exterior, but it does have that slight bit of firmness to it like you would expect with a bagel. And as we cut it open here, the inside is nice and soft but dense. Let's go ahead and take a bite and see how it feels and tastes. And just as we suspect, a nice soft interior with a subtle sweetness from the honey and a touch of brown sugar with a firm exterior. This would be great for any occasion. All right, well that wraps us up on how to make bagels. Comment below and let me know how yours turned out. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.